What's going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with a quick overview video of the recent event that's been happening, which is obviously S.W.O.R.D Satellite. It's been the Rayge all week with us going through and trying to work our way up and get closer and closer to the rewards. But if you guys recall, this is also the event that's directly tied back to the unlock of Black Knight himself in the game, especially for folks that did not have a chance to obviously utilize power cores through the orbs of his unlock. So that's why there's been, a lot of, discontent and frustration among the community, just because this is a very powerful character, but the way he was released and the way it got gated, I do have my thoughts. I've been a really big fan of this event, but coming from a free-to-play new player kind of perspective, it's been honestly their worst nightmare going through it, especially if you're newer to the game and in the mid game, or even if you're transitioning from mid game to end game. It's an extremely difficult event. So I do want to talk about the positives, but I also want to talk about the negatives of why events like this in the future shouldn't be run, especially if it's not accessible to the wider community. So first and foremost, guys, I just want to talk about Black Knight himself, right? The reason why this character is so hyped and you want to get your hands on him is because he's essentially a direct counter to Super S.W.O.R.D, who right now is the best character in the game. So having a character like this access is a beautiful rock paper scissors matchup. This can be synergized in obviously Arena, Crucible, War, and so forth, but it's a nice direct counter to a character that's very powerful in the game, and hence why there's a big contention on getting his unlock and trying to utilize him as an asset, especially for folks that do not have Super S.W.O.R.D unlocked, right? So that's why this event, it's super exciting to get access to a character like him in a multitude of different ways. But let's talk about the event overall. Like Red Letter Day, which ends in about 3 days, 6 hours. You get a decent amount of shards coming directly from the milestone, but some of these milestone points are tied back to the S.W.O.R.D Satellite event, right? So that's a con right there. But I mean, having said that, the shards actually haven't been bad. I think in total, like there's 5, 10, 15 there, and then the ones we haven't earned yet, have another 10 and 15 right there. And most folks should be able to hit milestone 16, but that also assumes that you're able to complete at least partially some of the S.W.O.R.D Satellite, right? And if you're able to do the blitzing later on, there is potential to hit this milestone 18 if you maximize those rotations. Not sure if I can hit that yet, but I mean, those extra 30 is more of a luxurious kind of milestone. But overall, they have essentially half of Black Knight's unlock shards in the milestone. The rest of it is coming from the orbs that you're going to be earning through, Incursion campaign, but as well as the S.W.O.R.D Satellite event. Now keep in mind, guys, the reason I'm a big fan of this event is because I am free to play. My TCP is only 39 million. It sounds like a lot, but over 4 years building that up, it's decent. Okay. When you're going through the Blitz event here and accessing the S.W.O.R.D Satellite component, there is also a milestone side relay back to that. So that's where you're going to be getting part of the rewards, right? So if you're able to progress through the floors, you're going to be earning these different milestones. These different milestones also giving you access to the cold-blooded orb fragments. So that's why I'm a big fan of it. If you have a built-up roster, even if you're free to play for the past few years, you're going to be able to access many of these floors. Actually, I think most endgame players should actually be able to hit up, floors 30 to 35. That seems like the general consensus from the folks that have been able to take advantage of my video guides, is that 30 to 35 range, right? But now, look at free to play, and I'm almost at the very top here, and 39 and 40 remaining for the 2 floors. So that's why I do love the event. It is definitely has the potential to be completely free to play friendly if you have built up rosters. The issue here is the fact that it's not accessible to really mid-game players and newer players that start the game. And I also, just to point out, there's another component of this after the conclusion of this event where they're going to give you even more fragments of Black Knight here. So as you can see right now, let's take a look. I'm in the top 3,000 right now. We go to the ranking here. You're anywhere from this 1,000 to 5,000 range. Look at this, 24k. I'm also getting another 12 orbs. Each orb rewards a minimum of 4 shards. So right here, I already basically have, another 48 shards of Black Knight banked. that is like phenomenal, just to get that infusion into my Black Knight and pushing him even higher in star levels, which is big, right? So you have 48 shards right there, or you know, less depending on where you rank. But to hit the minimum there, you actually have to clear a few floors, right? So that's the other issue that I have for newer players in mid-game accessing this, is because they didn't make it so that it's like a participation. You actually have to hit a certain milestone here in order to even participate on the bottom. And the bottom is only 5 orbs, right? 5 orbs is 20 shards of Black Knight. So I think I think actually in order to hit the minimum here, you do need to hit up the floor levels of minimum, I think floor 10, I believe. Here, I'm just trying to grab this scroll here. Floor 10 is what you need to access. And just take a look at this, right? If you're going through, let's just say you're in the mid game, newer player. Look, some of these teams are pretty massive. 400,000, 500, 700 almost, and you know, going all the way to floor 10, which is a checkpoint, I believe. You have to be ready to essentially handle this 1 million team in total TCP. That's pretty difficult, man, if you're newer in mid game and trying to transition here. So for sure, feedback for them is like, I think they definitely do need to make this more accessible in the future if there is another running of this event, because a lot of players are going to miss out on Black Knight. It's a darn shame. Because the other reason is the fact that they've already commented that Black Knight, with him being a dark promotion character, you know, his shards may not be readily available for quite some time. He's going to be, you know, given the same treatment as we've seen with, you know, Zombie Juggernaut, Zombie Iron Man, who's now farmable, but that, you know, that was at least a year. And big time Spider-Man, who's still not farmable in the game, right? So just food for thought. Some of these dark promotion characters are really, really meta changing, right? And another thing I really like about this event is just look at the shards, guys. So when I unlock Black Knight at 100 shards, I reset the shards, so I know exactly how much I had. And we've already earned about 70 plus shards, including the store free shards of 5, right? So this event's actually been pretty generous in terms of shards. But again, you need to be able to do well in the event, and that requires a deep and wide roster, even if you're free to play. So those are my 2 cents, guys. I actually love the event. I think it's been super fun all week, and it's amazing if you have the built-up roster, but it's really unfair for the newer players in mid-game. So what I'm hoping in the future is, if they're going to run this again, maybe make add more shards of Black Knight in the milestone itself, and not have it tied back to orbs as much, because, you know, that's really where this shines, right? You can get basically half of his unlock right now in the milestone, but that's assuming you can get through all the points. And then the other the issue of contention is the fact that, you know, they try to overcomplicate it too, right? We have different mechanics of scoring. I mean, right here, this is simple, right? Earn the cold blood orb fragments, but it's much more complicated than that. If you go to the eye for additional details, how you're actually earning it is through the Sword salary rewards. You're doing the jam sandwich web milestone, which is tied back to incursion, and then we also have the blitz, 1-day blitz, that's going to be coming, right? So just something for them to consider in the future here. I think just making it more accessible, because this is a really meta changing character, and I get it, they need to obviously have some sort of bottleneck, but at the end of the day, I think at the bare minimum, most players should have been given the opportunity to at least unlock the character, which in this case now appears to be the best method for this madness. Now potentially would be saving up power cores to open. So we don't even have that anymore, because obviously Starbrand has been added in the game, but maybe they should have left his orb longer, so that way folks could have topped him up. But you know, it's too little too late now at this point, and that's kind of why I'm really happy I did just hoard all my power cores and to unlock Black Knight, because we weren't really sure what was going to happen with this event and how many shards would be paid out, and I'm glad I did do that, because now seeing it through, although this is a really good free to play event for accessibility, it's just not good for any non-endgame players that have deep rosters and to ascend beyond those floors 30 and beyond. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Definitely some room for improvement. It's been a fun week, don't get me wrong, but it goes without saying though, there's quite a few folks that didn't get a missed opportunity here to take advantage, right? So I'm just speaking on their behalf as well. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.